He'd make like 20 to 30K a job. That was like his average job.
And you could set up a job in a day.
Yeah. He made several $100,000 while doing it and then sold the company for $600,000 18 months later. Which he said he now regrets because he sold it because he was bored. He actually wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
It was too passive.
Yeah.
Because all the panels were just rented out, which is like the dream of most people.
Right. I love it because you pay off all your equipment in like 1 to 6 rentals.
Yeah.
And after that, it's just gravy. It's a great side hustle.
Yeah.
Or it could scale if you wanted to scale.
Yeah. So for max 2 days at the very start and 2 days at the very end, you're working.
Yeah.
And for the rest, you're just collecting a check. There's no maintenance.
This could be a business that you don't need any money to start.
My oldest kid, when he was about 15 and a half, he started thinking about buying his own car. He thought I was going to buy it for him. I said, no, I had to buy my first vehicle. I feel like it taught me a lot of stuff. And then we looked on B Stock, started tracking different auctions. We found a rug auction and I'm like, you want to win this thing? And so we won the auction. And as of this last week, he bought his first car. So he is.
No way.
Yeah, he's pumped.
Does AI have you bummed out? All these terms, acronyms that you don't understand? That's fine, because today we're going to talk about 5 different business ideas where you can make $10,000 in either a year, a month, a week, or a day, and they're all offline. No AI stuff, no internet stuff. This is sweaty startup type stuff. Please enjoy. Tell me about your temporary fence friend.
Yeah, so I have a friend that started a temporary fence rental business in a suburb of Sacramento, not a big town where he focused. And he had no domain expertise at all before starting this. But he's a smart guy and he's a good salesman. And so he decided to do it. And so the first thing that you do is you have to buy the panels. You have to buy the temporary fence things.
Like chain link fence?
I think mostly he did like plastic.
Okay.
So they'd be like plastic barriers and then
Okay.
the panel between.
Okay, yeah.
And they're like 12 feet apart. And you got so you just put
Just
those.
to protect the job site.
Yeah. And then you put the plastic
Commercial job
panels.
sites.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he bought those. I don't know how many feet he bought, but he bought enough. So there's obviously costs. I don't think you have to buy them before you get your first job. You
Sure.
just have to be ready to buy them when you do get your first
Probably
job.
won't make money on your first
Yeah.
job.
And then how he would get his customers is he would just go to construction sites that are new that didn't have any temporary fencing up yet. And he would just say, do you want a temporary fence? I'll rent you mine
Yeah.
for cheap. And he would start making bank. And he did this.
They're about to buy it from someone.
Yeah. Because they need it.
Yeah.
It's like a liability
Yeah.
thing.
Well, it's a
Yeah.
legal thing too.
Yeah.
They probably like zoning
Yeah.
laws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have a hot buyer. Like they know they need it.
Mhm.
They don't have it yet. Worst case scenario is they already paid for something that hasn't shown up yet, I guess. But I would assume legally, like, oh, if you start construction, you need within X amount of
Right.
days, you need your fence up. That's probably the rule.
Well,
or
and if you
whatever.
wanted, you could, like anyone in the world can see building permits when they're filed.
Yeah. Yeah, you can
Those
do
are
it that way.
filed days,
Yeah.
weeks, or months before they ever show up on the job site.
Yeah.
So you could get way ahead of it.
Yeah, yeah, you totally could. So yeah, he didn't even do that version of it. He was just literally when he would drive around and when he would see a new construction site, he would go there. He would go to the little mobile, whatever
Yeah.
that thing is, the trailer set up, and find the person in charge, and then he'd pitch it, and then he would sell it, and then he would charge by the foot, and then sort of length of time. So the longer you have it, it'd be less per square foot, and he would charge like $4
Linear foot.
or linear foot. He would charge like $4 a foot, and then maybe eventually it'd get down to like $2 a foot if they had it for a longer amount of time, which he said was super. Everybody knows in construction, things always take longer than you think.
Mm-hmm.
So you get this passive income that just really starts to add up, because the amount of work you have to do on this job, other than make the sale, is setting up the fence,
Yeah.
and then 8 months later, taking down the fence.
Yeah. It's active on the front end,
Yeah.
active months or years later,
Yeah.
right? If you build a commercial building, it could take 2 to 4 years even.
Yeah. So for max 2 days at the very start and 2 days at the very end, you're working.
Yeah.
And for the rest, you're just collecting a check. There's no maintenance. You don't have to clean these things. You don't have to remove them. If they accidentally hit it with a tractor, they just move it back anyway. It's their
Yeah.
job too. And you have to buy the enough panels.
Yeah.
You have to buy the temporary fence. But other than that, there's no extra ongoing costs of any kind. And he started growing it, and he was making, I asked him, he'd make like 20 to 30K a job. That was like his average job.
And you could set up a job in a day.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Totally.
Depending on how big your crew is or whatever.
Yeah.
Guys, I literally added an upstairs to my house and spent tens of thousands of dollars building out this awesome studio. So if you like it, just hit subscribe and it would mean the world.
And he started it in like the summer of a couple years ago. Well, he made several $100,000 while doing it, and then sold the company for $600,000 18 months later, which he said he now regrets because he sold it because he was bored.
Yeah.
Honestly, probably bored that he actually wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
Because
It was too passive for him.
It was too passive.
Yeah.
Because all the panels were just rented out. All the panels he had bought were on jobs.
Yeah.
So he's literally doing
You get
nothing.
to a point where you got to either like triple down and keep buying more and more and more panels, or you just start cashing checks.
Yeah. It was literally too passive for him. So he's like, I'm just going to sell the company. So he sold the company, $600,000 after 18 months of
plus the
very
profit
passive
he made along the way.
Yeah. After months of passive work that became too passive, which is like the dream of most people.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's crunch the numbers. You said $4 per linear foot.
Uh-huh.
So I have a 2-acre property that is 900 feet by 100 feet, right? It's very long and narrow.
Okay.
So 900 by 100. So if he were to set up temporary fencing on my property, 2-acre property, which is not unreasonable at all for a commercial property.
Yeah.
That's 1,000 linear feet times 4. So that would be $4,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So to get to 10 in a day, you need like a 5-acre lot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I'd multiply that by 2.5. Yeah. You would need a 5-acre lot of temporary fencing to fence off the whole thing.
I would assume these are monthly numbers that he was charging.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, and it comes down based on.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
holy crap.
So before for yours, you're saying it'd be 4,000.
So if it's
a
10
month.
Yeah. So if it's a 10-month project,
yeah,
you're not collecting 10,000 cash in a day. In this, if we want to get technical, you're signing a $10,000 contract that you collect over 10 months, and you're doing the work for it in a day. If we really want to get ticky tacky.
Yeah, true. But some of these are bigger, where they might pay you the 10K right away, or more,
or you give them a discount to pay up front.
Yeah, because he said his average was 20 to 30K a job. So I bet a lot of them were like 75% up front, 25% at the end, or 50-50 or something like that.
So we could sit here and talk about like, oh, you got to make this AI agent that goes up, but like really get in your truck or car and go talk to these job sites.
Yeah, drive around, or when you're going out to dinner, keep an eye out on what looks like it's going to start soon. What construction site looks like it's going to start soon.
Yeah.
I feel like they all have the big old banner, like, whatever. Koerner Construction and the big old phone number, right?
Yeah.
Call that number and say, hey, I saw your thing. I saw the site. I saw you don't have the temporary fencing.
Yeah.
I've actually got the best rates in the city. Who do I talk to?
And don't go buy your fencing first. Sell your first job.
Yeah.
Then go buy your fencing.
Yeah.
You probably need all that money to buy your first fencing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So theoretically, this could be a business that you don't need any money to start. If you get paid up front,
a
lot of ifs, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But still.
Yeah, totally.
That's a banger.
Yeah.
All right. So I've got an interesting one for you.
Okay.
I was on Facebook Marketplace, and there's a guy that makes mini golf holes. Okay.
Mini or mini?
Mini.
Okay.
Right. They are mini golf holes that are portable and smaller than a normal mini golf hole.
Okay.
So they're mini golf holes.
Yeah.
And picture like, 4 2x4s in like a rectangular frame, call it like 6 feet by 3 feet or 8 feet by 3 feet. And then you've got like AstroTurf down the middle, and you've got like some obstacles, and it's just sitting on plywood. And so he sells these for hundreds of dollars, maybe even close to $1,000 each. So if you wanted your own 18-hole mini golf course, theoretically you could buy 18 different ones from him.
Yeah.
He has different designs and patterns, but his biggest business is renting them out to weddings, events, parties, etc. for $300 per hole per day, which is less than the cost of the materials. Right?
Yeah.
So he rents this thing out once on Facebook Marketplace. His customer acquisition channel is free because it costs nothing to post them.
Yeah.
And it's paid for. And anything after that is just gravy.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a super fun idea too, as like somebody who, I don't throw events, but if I were to, that would be a very fun thing to have
Yeah.
at the event.
Oh, yeah.
Very unique.
Yeah, it is. I
Yeah.
think it would be a hit.
Yeah.
And to, math into this $10,000 a month, you basically need to rent out 35 of them. If it's $300 a piece,
35 holes.
35 holes, or one hole 35 times, which is less likely.
Or just 2 sets of 18 holes and you're good.
Yeah. And you've got
Yeah.
10 grand. And
Yeah.
your first month, let's say you do that your first 3 months, you pay off all your materials. After that, it's basically net profit. It's your time,
Yeah.
it's your gas money, posting for free to Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
This is in Dallas-Fort Worth. There's 8 million people here. I'm sure it could support more than one guy doing it.
Yeah.
I'm sure Utah could support a handful of people
Yeah.
doing this. So,
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, that could totally do 10K in a month.
yeah.
Okay, off of that, I saw very recently, like this week, for the first time ever, it is some RV resort or something, but this is just like an amenity there that you could do a version of this for too, which is they had a mini golf course at this RV thing in like Arkansas, but it's all cornhole, which I've never seen
Ooh.
before. So
Huh.
it's just a bunch. It's not as fancy as golf, because with golf you need to have the thing where the the ball goes in and around and through and whatever. So this is just a bunch of cornhole, what do you call them, boards,
Yeah.
holes, yeah, and then your bag, and then so you just go from thing to thing, and they have like obstructions. I'll send you the thing, so you can like put it here or whatever. They have obstructions where you kind of have to throw it around or over or through, and so and it's like themed or whatever, but it looks super fun.
Man, what?
And no one's ever played cornhole mini golf before.
Yeah.
And so they had, I don't remember if it was 9 or 18 holes, but it looks amazing. And I bet the cost of that would be even cheaper, because you can get a cornhole board. You can make them even cheaper, just
Yeah.
a thing of plywood and a stand and a hole. But you could buy them for like $30 off Amazon. So you see a handful of
man.
those, a handful of bags. You don't need a ton of bags, because you
Yeah.
just walk with the next bag each time.
I own RV parks. We could, I would pay someone to install these. I don't
Yeah.
want to go through the headache of
Yeah.
working out like what obstacles to put. Like,
Yeah.
that's one avenue, is go to the RV parks.
Yeah.
Just show them the website of that RV park. and say,
Yeah.
I do this for you.
Yeah.
I charge $700 per hole,
Yeah.
and it's yours forever.
Yeah.
And then I'll maintain it. Maybe there's a small
Yeah.
monthly fee to come by and check on things.
BYOB, bring your own bags.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you could do the Facebook Marketplace route, like
Yeah.
this mini golf guy.
Yeah.
You could sell them. You could just make and sell cornholes, right?
Yeah.
Forget the course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you could rent them out to events,
Yeah.
right? To
Well, you
weddings,
wouldn't even
events.
need, like for mini golf, you need turf for the ball to roll on before it goes in. With this, you don't need anything. You just walk on a path.
Yeah.
So any place that is walkable, grass, gravel, dirt, plop down the board,
Yeah.
throw some obstructions there, and you're
That's
you're
true.
done.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that needs to be more than just like one random RV park.
Yeah. Yeah. When I saw it, it just came up in my algorithm. I was hoping because of that it was in Utah,
It
but
needs
I
to
was
be.
sad. It's in Arkansas.
It will be after people watch.
I hope so. Yeah. Somebody please do it.
I mean, Utah is the land of copycats.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So while we're on this Facebook Marketplace / outdoor theme, what do you know about like outdoor inflatable movie rentals as a business?
I don't know much. I've seen it a little. I would, as a consumer, pay for that. Yeah, I think that would be good. What do you know?
So you can buy all of this equipment for $500 to $3,000. What you need is an inflatable movie screen.
Okay.
Okay. And it's just like a bounce house.
Yeah. Okay.
You can get them from Alibaba for cheaper. You can get them on eBay. You can buy them from whoever else. But you just plug it into the wall like a bounce house,
Yeah.
and it inflates. And it's just a big white screen with like a frame around it, and it stands up. And then you can stake it down in case it gets windy. And then you buy a projector. You can buy those as cheaply as like $50. I wouldn't suggest that for this.
Yeah.
You can buy nice ones. We bought like a really nice one for our family that's like a smart projector. It has all the apps, like all the Roku apps on it.
Oh, that's cool.
Those are like $200 or $300.
Okay.
And then a Bluetooth speaker.
Okay.
And you can get those nice ones for $100, like a stand-up Bluetooth
Okay.
speaker, maybe 2 for each side of it.
Yeah.
And backyard parties, birthday parties, events, like neighborhood stuff, HOA stuff. I just went to an HOA party and they rented one of these for the kids to watch while everyone else was like eating food and stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
There's a few companies that scaled this to multiple millions and tens of millions of dollars.
Oh, that's crazy.
So there's one in California called Funflix.
Okay.
They're like a franchise. They have over 40 locations. Southern
Okay.
Outdoor Cinema, they're in Atlanta. They do 3 to 4 million a year in revenue.
Yeah.
They've been in business for 17 years. There's one in Austin that has 20 other locations outside of Austin. I love it because
Yeah.
it's much like the mini golf businesses. You pay off all your equipment in like 1 to 6 rentals.
Yeah.
And after that, it's just gravy. Creators are moving their podcast to Beehive, and I want to tell you why. So if you're running a newsletter on one platform and a podcast on another, that's 2 dashboards and 2 subscriber lists that didn't even know the other one existed. But Beehive will host podcasts natively now, and you can import your show in minutes. So every time you drop an episode, your email list will get notified. Or when someone finds the podcast, they can just join the newsletter from the same page. Also, you can sell digital products and coaching sessions through Beehive and pay 0% commissions on all of it. Then you just connect everything to Claude through Beehive's MCP tool, not as confusing as it sounds, and Claude will see your real engagement data and help you plan content around what your audience actually clicks on. One platform, everything connected, nothing skimmed off the top. That's beehive.com/Chris. Use code Chris30 for 30% off your first 3 months. And also, they're not telling anyone what it is yet, but Beehive's summer release event is on July 16th, and it's worth clearing your calendar for. So RSVP for that at beehive.com/summer-release-2026. It's a great side hustle,
Yeah.
or it could scale if you wanted to.
Yeah. Well, and you lightly mentioned bounce house. Everybody knows bounce houses. Everybody knows like the blow up obstacle course versions of bounce houses and stuff. And I've rented those for some kids' birthday parties over the years. I'm amazed how much money those guys still make too.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you have to pay up front for the big old bounce house things.
Yeah.
But every time I return mine, there's a line. I'm waiting in a line behind everybody else who's returning, because everybody's always returning them like Saturday night, because the party was like Friday night or Saturday day. And it's always like, oh, you got to return it by 8 p.m. or whatever, at least the one I get it from. So there's always this massive line. The things are frankly not, well, the companies don't seem that well run.
Yeah.
The things don't even seem like that well taken care of.
They don't clean them in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're raking in the cash.
Yeah.
Every weekend. Yeah, sure. It's a little like weather dependent, but depending where you're at, you can make a ton of money with that still.
I did a deep dive on the bounce house business last year. We'll link to that. But
yeah,
that's one thing that she said. Like, if you just clean your bounce houses between every rental, you will be in the top 10%.
And just say that.
That's it.
Say we clean it every time, because that's my main hesitancy in doing it as a dad. It's like, oh, those things are gonna be gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are.
And in this new world of AI, I think people are going to treasure real outdoor in-person experiences more than ever.
Yeah.
Because the like pushback of being like too online and stuff. So I don't necessarily see this slowing down, or the outdoor movie or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So next one. Now, you were telling me a story, and I had to interrupt you because I wanted to hit record first.
Oh yeah.
About a family member that buys artwork in Europe. Tell me that story.
Yeah. So my wife and I, we like to travel, and when we travel, we try to find a piece of original art. Like if we were in a different country for a meaningful amount of time, we'll try to find a piece of original art there that we think could go on like our art. We have like a section in one of our rooms where it's like our art wall.
Okay.
And it's just stuff from every place we've been. It's super fun and it's pretty and all that kind of stuff.
Now, how much are you spending on this art?
Like average? Maybe $20 to $60 per.
Okay.
They're almost always, or pretty much always, originals. We try to find originals. Every now and then we might splurge for one that we like absolutely love and it's already framed.
Yeah.
And that would be like $150.
Yeah, but these aren't like big names. It's not fine art.
Nobody I've ever heard of. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it always has to still fit in a suitcase on the way home. So like it's not going to be huge.
But it's offline stuff.
Yeah.
Like this is not sold online. It's not found online. It's from local artists in whatever area you're visiting.
And ideally we find these in like little nook and cranny type stores, like antique stores, not of course, whatever the version of Walmart is in Italy.
Not Hobby Lobby art.
Yeah.
They are originals.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, we love doing that. My sister-in-law recently was on a trip in the UK with her husband and kids, and they were there for a little longer than just like a quicker trip. So she had the idea to do this, but to kind of do it at mini scale, let's call it, and to then sell them back when she got back into Utah, to use it to pay for her trip. So that was her thesis.
Put the trip on a credit card.
Yeah.
Also use a credit card to buy artwork. Bring it back home, sell it to pay off the credit card.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't hate it.
Yeah. So she I want to say bought like 12 to 14 originals
Okay.
across the UK. I think it was mostly from Ireland, and they're stunning. So it's like Irish countrysides, coast, beautiful homes, like little streets, just a bunch of different ones.
Do you know what she spent on average?
I don't think she's telling that many people how much she actually spent, because she's selling these for like a few $100 each,
Okay.
and some even a little higher than that.
So
But
she's probably paying like $50 to $100, I'm guessing.
yeah, or maybe more towards the 50.
Okay. I'm sorry, sister.
Yeah, don't watch this, friends of her, please. But whatever, like she did the work. Even if she bought it for 50 and is selling for 400, I can't just be like, oh well, I'm just gonna go there and buy it for 50.
Yeah.
Well, then I have to fly out there and find the store.
Yeah.
And like, right, that's not feasible. So I don't think it's wrong in any way to buy something for 50 and sell it for 400. Art is worth whatever anyone wants to pay for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to buy one from her that she is about to sell, because she kind of just like sells it in waves, and she has an Instagram account that is set up that is just for these. And they're all super pretty. They're all
It's not like
originals.
a big Instagram account?
No.
It's like-
Oh, no. It's more just like a personal little side thing. Yeah, I mean, it probably has like 100 followers or less, because she shared it from her personal, right? To say, hey, if you want my art that I bought, go to this new account. But I think she'll be able to pay for a meaningful part of a longer trip in Ireland with her family just from this art, because she can probably clear at least a few K from just these originals that she bought.
A few K from the UK.
There you go.
Jeez.
Yeah. But I mean, how cool is that? Like, retroactively pay for a trip with the unique stuff you bought in the country.
That's amazing. It's
Yeah.
free. It's free vacation plus
Yeah.
spending money.
And it takes a little work, but for some people, it's actually not work. Like, I love going into
Sure.
random little shops.
But dude, like if I'm her, I'm going to, like, those shops are listed on Google, right? Like,
Yeah.
they're online.
Probably how she
Like-
found them. Yeah.
They might not have a website even,
Yeah.
but you could find them online.
Yeah.
I would just call them up and say,
Yeah.
I know this is weird. My name's so-and-so. I live in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
I love artwork.
Yeah.
I have no idea what your artwork looks like. Do you even have artwork?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. Can we FaceTime? Can
Yeah.
we like WhatsApp? Can I see your artwork?
Yeah.
I'm willing to buy it. I'll pay
Yeah.
for shipping,
Yeah.
right? Sure. So we're FaceTime. That one. All right. Those are $50 each. I'll take 10 of them. Could you do $350 for all 10? Sure.
Yeah.
All right. How much is shipping? Can you roll it up in a tube? Shipping's $50. That's okay. I'll pay for it. You're
Yeah.
getting 10.
Yeah.
They're all in the same.
Yeah.
You could scale that without having
Yeah,
to
you
fly
totally
to the
could
UK.
actually. Yeah. There was last time I was in the UK was a few years ago, and we stayed in the Cotswolds, which is like 2 hours west of London. Anyway, there's a lot of cute little towns there and shops, and there were tons with amazing art.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't think about what you just said, but I'm going to call one of them.
Yeah.
Because some of them were like, it was too big for us to like fit in our stuff to bring home. So we just didn't buy them.
Yeah.
But they were cheap and they were beautiful and they were originals. They were just too big. So I should just call them and I'll buy the one or two that we wanted. And then I'll say, hey, what if I bought like 7 more?
Yeah.
Can you give me a discount on shipping or whatever? And then I'll just try to resell them for fun.
Dude, how about this even better? Call them up. You have any artwork? Cool. I know this might take you 10 minutes and it's annoying, but I promise I'm an interested buyer. Can you just take your iPhone, take pictures, like nice pictures up close of each piece of artwork you have and text them to me, WhatsApp them to me,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Then you list them on Facebook Marketplace. Original artwork from the Cotswolds,
yeah.
right? $375.
You're saying before I buy them.
Before.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, hey, shipping, delivery could take 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
You spend a week selling them,
Yeah.
collecting deposits,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then you come back and you say, hey, remember me? You sent me the pictures?
Yeah.
I actually have some friends that want to buy these.
Yeah.
You're honestly just telling the truth,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'll pay you up front
Yeah.
and just ship them to me.
Yeah. I mean, the
Sell 'em before you have
only
'em.
downside to that is you could sell something that was then bought
Yeah.
before, but
'Cause
I think that's going to actually
send
be
you
pretty rare.
Yeah. Because they probably sit there for months.
Yes.
It's like, I'll send your deposit back. Sorry, it
Yeah.
sold. It's
Yeah.
no longer available.
Yeah.
The people
That's going to
in-
be rare anyway.
Yeah.
And even in that situation, you'd be like, I've got 10 others ready.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah. That's yeah. You and or I should do that. That'd be fun.
I should do it for a test video. Like I should
Yeah.
record myself calling these shops and actually doing that.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good idea.
So this is 10 grand in a week. Someone could
Yeah.
do this. I think this would be harder, but like we're talking 30 pieces of artwork for $300. That's 9 grand, right?
Yeah.
40 pieces of artwork. So like you'd have to
If
be
you
on the
prepped,
phone.
you could do 10 in a week. You
Yeah.
could have the little Instagram account before. You
Mhm.
could talk about the pictures. You could, about the paintings, all that kind of stuff. You could tell people that they are all going for sale to the highest bidder the last week of May or whatever, and boom, do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just thinking like you don't really gain all that much by flying there. If you're there, sure, of course. But like if you make $300 in profit and you buy 10 pieces of art in person, that's your whole trip.
Yeah.
You basically break even, which is still great. You get a free vacation.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking on that.
Yeah.
But like you don't usually when you go there in person, kind of like we were talking about in another episode, like your close rate goes up when you're in person. But with this in person, it's just like it's convenient because you're there. But to fly there purposely just for that, it's not super efficient because you're going to buy the same piece of artwork anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe because you can see the texture a little better in person. But
yeah.
I like this idea a lot.
Yeah. I like vintage watches. I'm wearing one right now. I don't buy them for their resale value, nor do I buy based off of the brand or whatever, nor do I don't even focus on buying ones that are expensive per se. This one that I'm wearing right now probably cost me, I can't remember exactly, but like under $100. I just thought it was really cool and it was unique, and so I wanted to buy it. You can do the version of this for watches or apparel, especially if it's in countries like Japan or South Korea, places in Europe too would work. Even like Mexico, you could do it from, just places that have some history and unique creators and stuff like that. But I think there's lots of different places and ways to find unique things that if you're there or if you call them up, if I can find a vintage watch store in Japan and just be like, hey, can we FaceTime? Show me your watch collection. Show me everything you've got that's under $100. That's like original. I don't want to see whatever Timexes or I don't know, Casios or something. Right. Just show me all your original Japanese brand stuff, and I'm gonna buy some and resell, or send me the pictures and do the Facebook thing. I think there's a version of this that is really fun for the person who's doing it, and they're providing value across the board. They're not just a middleman.
Right.
If you can find a watch in Japan for $40, send you a picture of it, and then find me on Facebook Marketplace, and I'd be willing to pay $80. Well, everybody wins.
Yeah.
The Japanese store won, you won, I win. We're all happy.
Well, I love this business because there's infinite variables. There's 300 countries out there.
Yeah.
There's thousands of different types of items.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be arbitrage opportunities.
Yeah.
Right. It's never going to be like a perfectly efficient market between all these. Because like, why not like import from Japan to Hungary?
Yeah.
From Poland to Colombia or Argentina. Like it doesn't have to only be to the US.
Yeah.
Or Colombia to Poland, like unique food products. Like Hungary's known for their paprika.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, in the algorithms these days, especially if you get into running ads, the algorithms are going to find, if you're making content on social about what you're doing, the algorithms will find the people who want what you are doing.
Yeah.
So if you are in Utah selling Japanese watches on Facebook Marketplace, you will pop up in my algorithm. And
even if your video gets 400 views, it's going to be 400 of the right people.
Yeah. Yeah. So being willing to do that as well would for sure be key if you want to scale this up a little bigger. But yeah, tons of potential here.
So if you watch me on YouTube, you notice I sell these $19 business plans. They're 30 pages. They're awesome. But you can get all of them combined for only $5 a month. So check that out at the link in the description. In addition to getting $300 worth of free business plans every month for the videos I post about, we also post exclusive videos not available to the public, only to you, for $5 a month. Cancel whenever. We also give you priority replies to your comments. You'll have a little badge by your username on YouTube, so we'll see you. And it's just a cool way to say, hey, I'm more serious about this than everyone else watching these videos. Okay, so tell me the rug story.
Yeah, so my oldest kid now just turned 16, but when he was about 15 and a half, he started thinking about buying his own car. I told him he had to. He wanted a car. He thought I was going to buy it for him. I said, no, I had to buy my first vehicle. I feel like it taught me a lot of stuff. Anyway, I'm like, I'm sorry, but I want you to have the same experience. And at first he was bugged, and then he came around. So anyway, he at the time had a part-time job because he's in high school. He's a sophomore. He had a part-time job at an indoor swim school.
Okay.
Just teaching little kids how to swim. He's a super good swimmer and all trained and all that in Utah where we live. And like after taxes, get taken out. Like, I don't know what his actual hourly wage is, but he gets like $11 after all the taxes.
Okay.
That's how he calculates it. Anyway, so that's what he makes. And he works like 2 days of like 6 hours and 1 day of like 4 hours a week. Anyway, but this is in November. I said, do the math on how long it's going to take you to buy a car. And I started showing him cars for sale on bringatrailer.com, which I love just browsing that site. And I'm like, now do the math on how long it's going to take you to get the thing that you actually want with your current job. He did the math and he was not happy. He'd be like 22 years old. Yeah. So he's like, well, what should I do? And I'm like, well, I've been telling you forever, like you should do your own thing. Like there are different ways to make money. So I showed him like 10 episodes of yours. We just listened to them actually while driving home from Vegas, just 10 in a row. And I was like, how about this? And he already had listened to you before, at least some episodes. So I'm like, let's just listen to Chris and you just pick, like, tell me an idea that stands out to you. So anyway, we listened to a bunch of episodes and then somebody said something about selling stuff. And then it kind of centered around, okay, what could we sell? And what do we have room for? And, what could he do? Like, he can't like sell vacuums. He doesn't know anything about fixing vacuums or whatever, right? So then we were just kind of going back and forth, like, what is like the easiest thing to understand that you would have to sell where you like can't get it wrong? And we settled on rugs.
Okay.
Because they're squares or rectangles, and whatever's on the rug is what the rug is.
There's
design.
nothing to fix. There's no moving parts. They don't expire.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we figured it was the simplest thing.
I guess the one downside is they're heavy and they're kind of big.
Yeah.
Which also means other people probably aren't interested in selling them as much. So there could be more demand than supply.
Yeah. Yeah. So we settled on that. So I was like, okay, well, I'll try to figure out where to buy them from. And then we looked on B-Stock, which is like a popular site for this kind of thing. And so I started tracking different auctions and would keep my eye on others for them. But we found a rug auction and I'm like, do you want to win this thing? And so we won the auction. And after shipping, it was like $1,500 for 115 rugs. Yeah. Yeah.
Like $8 a piece?
Yeah, it was pretty cheap. Or like $12 a piece.
$12 okay.
Yeah.
$12 a piece, including shipping, for 115
Yeah,
rugs.
115.
How much
all
volume
sizes.
does that take? Like that would probably fill up this whole room.
Yeah, it was bigger. So I was actually out of town when they were delivered, and it was on 2 different pallets, and we have like a steep driveway, but the guy helped luckily. So anyway, brought it up, put it in. I have a barn that wasn't all the way used, so it probably was 2 times the size of this room. Amount
so
of
like
rugs.
a 2-car garage.
Yeah.
Give or take.
It wouldn't have filled up a whole 2-car garage.
Okay.
But yeah.
1.5-car garage.
Yeah. Because it adds up. Because some of these are like 8 by 12, and then rolled up. It's pretty
heavy
huge.
too, right?
Yeah, they're heavy.
2-person job to move.
So I would say the biggest one might have been more like 10 by 14 or something. And then some, they weren't actually rugs. Some were literally just doormats. So it got as small as a doormat. No.
Okay, that happens sometimes.
Yeah. So it got as small as a doormat, and then as big as a 10 by 14. But it was of the 115, probably whatever. 90 were rugs with some doormats, and then I guess some runners, just long and skinny things.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you do any research on like how much demand there would be for these in your area? Did you post them to Facebook before you bought them?
Yeah, good question. Coulda, shoulda, woulda done that. Didn't do any of that.
Yeah, that's fine.
I just figured like people need rugs.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people need rugs. I don't know how many people need rugs in Utah.
Did you go look on Facebook to see if other people
we
were
did do
selling them?
that. People were selling them.
What were some like prices?
Like it was a pretty broad range between like $20 and like $200.
Okay.
So and that's kind of why we decided yes on the auction that we won.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if we can get these for like $12 to $13, worst case scenario, we sell them for an average of $20. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
If we could move 115 rugs for $20, it's not a ton of money.
You could profit
but we're not
$1,000.
gonna lose money. Yeah.
Yeah. That's like a year of working at the pool.
Yeah. So that was sort of the justification for just being willing to jump in.
Yeah.
To do something that, he didn't, again, you don't need to learn too much about the industry, but he didn't know anything. But I also figured, I thought that it was a good choice, but I was happy he chose this as the thing that he wanted to do because I didn't want him to do something where it would require like being on a screen all the time. Like, building an app and trying to do marketing for that, even though that's sort of how I'm built skill wise. I didn't want that. And by selling rugs, you actually do have to learn a lot. You have to take pictures, learn how to position them the right way in a way that looks aesthetically pleasing. You have to then list things for sale and figure out what they go for. You have to learn how to negotiate. You have to have people skills, because he was just having them pick it up in person because he couldn't drive. So, he had to have people skills, and I tried to teach him like how to do upsells. Like, hey, if they come for a $50 rug, try and sell one of those doormats that we don't really want, right? Try and sell that for $5.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. So anyway, he learned a ton of skills. So
did he worry about like lighting for the pictures? Or
yeah, I talked to him about that. And the background, like there's a difference of having a rug, because at first it was like a rug on grass or on dirt. And I'm like, well, if you put the rug in our house, if you could, then that'd be better. Or like make a better background in the barn that you could do.
Yeah.
Or turn one rug upside down, then do all the other rugs, pictures on top of that rug.
I mean, I bought a bunch of appliances to do this, and it wasn't that hard to list them because they're all right there. And I just walk around it. But with this, you got to roll them out, move them inside from the barn, take pictures of them. You might need 2 people to move them, times 115.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
All right. So how did it go?
Yeah, it went good. So he kept that part-time job, at the swim thing. And, but he started doing this, and I had him sell through my Facebook account because he doesn't have one. So I was just like, just in the description, just say, I'm actually Brandon's son. I'm trying to sell these. And, I wanted him to be like, hey, I'm trying to sell them to buy my first car, but he didn't really want to do that very much, but I think he only did it sometimes. Anyway, he has been doing that. It's been a few months, a handful of months. And then he did do one garage sale.
Oh, okay.
Where, it was just pitched as a massive rug sale, and he put signs up all over our little town, and that worked really well too. So anyway, he has sold about 80 of the 115 so far.
Wow.
And as of this last week, he bought his first car. So he is,
no way.
Yeah, he's pumped. He bought a 1995 or something Toyota 4Runner in his favorite color, and he is pumped.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to take good care of it because he had to buy it.
Yeah.
So
how much did it cost?
like $3,000. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he made enough. Yeah. The average price of the 80 is probably like 45.
Jeez. So almost 4 times his money on each rug.
Yeah. Somewhere between
After
40 and 45.
a good bit of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But learning a ton of different skills.
Yeah.
He's made over $3,000 from the 80. The rest will just be gas money or whatever. And he's still got the part-time job. And honestly, I don't think he loves rugs anymore. Like, I think he might be anti-rug as an adult. But it helped him get his first car. So
did you like charge him interest or anything?
I did charge him a little bit of interest because I had to front the $1,500 to buy him the rugs. So I charged him $300 interest, which if you do the calculations, yes, I'm aware it's 20%. It's pretty high, but I did give him free rent in the barn for the rug space.
That's more valuable,
as well
than
as
$300.
Licensed my Facebook account to him to sell it with, which you can't put a price on that.
That's a deal.
And provided very expensive consulting services to him as well.
Yep.
For free. So that $300 covered a lot.
I agree.
But yeah, no, I mean, he learned a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I've ever seen a bigger smile on his face than when he bought his first car.
That feels good.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm feeling
so good. Can you make $10K in a year doing this? Yeah. I mean, he's made $3K in like 4 months or whatever. During
very part-time. He probably had weeks where he didn't do anything.
Yes. There were weeks when I was bugged. I'm like, hey, dude, you've still got 100 rugs in my barn. I don't want them there when it's summertime. So this is through the winter. So it's like the worst time to sell rugs theoretically.
Yeah.
I would assume the best time to sell rugs is spring and summer. But yeah, he's only got like 30 left or whatever.
How many did his garage sale sell?
He sold a lot there. He probably sold like 40-ish of
Holy
the
cow.
80
and
at
they
the
came
garage.
to him.
Yeah.
Those were the easiest sales he made.
Yeah.
Man,
and it was the easiest to upsell in that situation too.
Yeah. Okay, so today we're doing ways to make 10 grand in a year, a month, a week, and a day. Okay, so that's the year option.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you probably can't do 10K in a week off rugs unless you have a super dialed in plan.
Right.
But yeah, 10K in a year, there's lots of ways to make 10K in a
Anything
year.
can scale. The
Yeah.
question is, how hard is it to scale, and is it worth it?
Yeah.
Did those rugs come from Costco?
Yeah.
Costco, like
Yeah, they were
returns?
Costco returns.
And there were other rug listings?
Yeah. There was only like one other one that we were tracking when
But this was
got it.
months ago. There's probably more.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure there is. Yeah.
So anyone in the world with $1,500 or a credit card could do this business.
Yeah.
Anywhere they buy rugs.
Yeah.
Which is everywhere.
Yeah.
Brandon, where can we find you?
Yeah, just find me on Twitter, Brandon Doyle, or Instagram. Same thing.
Okay.
Okay.
If you like this content, please share with a friend, hit a like or a comment below, and we'll see you next time on the Koerner Office.